Hello people of the internet, and welcome to the return of the viewer requests. For those who don't know, back in 2015, I experimented with the idea of doing a series of reviews based on viewer requests. Initially, I wanted to do them after I finished my Godzilla reviews. Then, when I realized that I wanted to focus on other pieces of media, I wanted to dedicate a separate series for them. Afterwards, I made a test pilot in the same vein as my theatrical movie reviews, where I reviewed Brain 17 with my friend Pete. Unfortunately, due to our conflicting schedules, I was unable to continue with that style, and eventually left the concept on the back burner. Recently, however, a friend of mine recommended that I should try to make shorter videos on a more regular basis, since that seems to be the trend nowadays with successful YouTube channels. That's when I decided to bring this concept back to fill the gap between the longer and more in-depth reviews that my editor Brayton and I work on. For my first viewer request, I'll be covering the 2014 fan film Godzilla Battle Royale. So without further ado, let's dig in. The film takes place in Chicago on a day like any other, when suddenly an army of monsters emerge from the ocean and begin tearing the city apart. From that point on, the American military, the Japanese Self-Defense Force, and several monsters do what they can to ensure Earth's survival. However, it's not until the reveal of the film's villains do the humans manage to free some of the monsters, resulting in one massive battle royale. The film's story is very simplistic and relies far more on its visuals than any sort of character depth or deeper themes. Battle Royale is essentially one big, never-ending action scene made in the same style as Destroy All Monsters. Sure, there's somewhat of a character arc where Lieutenant Matt Kennedy, played by the film's director Billy DeBose, learns to be less of an arrogant hotshot. But outside of that, every other character is mainly here to drive the plot and action forward. Speaking of which, due to the director's limited acting range, I had difficulty determining whether or not I'm supposed to view this character as a legit badass in the context of the film, or as a Johnny Bravo type character who thinks he's a legit badass, but is more of a goofball. Either way, each interpretation matches the over-the-top and ludicrous mood that the film conveys. Much like Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla and all of his behemoth co-stars are the real stars here, as the film gives almost each of them their time to shine. As for Battle Royale's special effects, they're what will make or break the movie for you. Due to the monsters being mostly portrayed by cosplayer suits and puppets, the quality wildly differs between each creature, with some looking far better, and far worse than others. The fights themselves are portrayed through an extensive use of green screen and flat PNG backgrounds, along with models developed by Dojo Studios, a small group of filmmakers known for their G-Fantasy shorts. At no point does the green screen work look convincing, but it's still an admirable attempt considering the scale of these battles and the number of stunts these monsters perform. The model work is where I have my biggest grievances, which also carries over into the filmmaking itself. Throughout the movie's runtime, I could feel that the people behind the camera had a very lackadaisical method of shooting. Many instances occurred where an actor recites a line horribly, or a shot where the hotel room's rug and ceiling can be seen, or a sequence where extras are still wearing their G-Fest badges. Even though I had already set my expectations low for this small-budgeted fan film, seeing these easily fixable mistakes permeate throughout the film gave me the feeling that the people behind this project simply didn't care all that much when it came to quality control. It's as if they said, "Oh, it's not like we're making a real movie. Who cares if we have a bad take? It's just a fan film after all." After hearing my friend Jacob Baker elaborate on his experiences with Dojo Studios on G-Fantasy's Death Game, a short film that he was attached to direct, the results here make much more sense. Now, despite my issues with the visuals and overly simplistic story, you might be thinking that I'm not a fan of Godzilla Battle Royale. In actuality, I still enjoyed it. Despite its technical issues, there's still a level of passion on display here that only a die-hard Godzilla fan can provide. Numerous Easter eggs can be found that range from cameos of fan-favorite actors, references to other tokusatsu properties, and a wide range of music taken from numerous Godzilla films. The whole production definitely feels like it was made by Godzilla fans that genuinely wanted to make an entertaining film for the fandom. Despite my qualms with the film, Godzilla Battle Royale is a really enjoyable experience, but only among certain fans with a specific mindset. I'm giving Battle Royale a 3 out of 5. Now comes the biggest question of all. Which of the two fan films that I've covered is the best? Godzilla x the Kaiju Killer or Godzilla Battle Royale? After looking over both films, I have to give the title to Kaiju Killer. While Battle Royale is a much more ambitious film in terms of scale and spectacle, the quality is all over the map, whereas Kaiju Killer managed to keep its visuals, acting, and tone on an overall consistent level. That being said, I actually find myself watching Battle Royale more often due to its less depressing storyline, similar to how I would prefer to watch Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster on an average day over the original 1954 Godzilla. If you yourself happen to be a huge fan of the Showa films, and can tolerate a film with uneven qualities, then give Battle Royale a watch here on YouTube. Hope you've enjoyed this first installment in the rebooted viewer request series. If you happen to have something you'd like for me to take a look at, then share your thoughts in the comments below. At the moment, I'd like to take requests for films and short TV shows, since they're the easiest for me to cover on a regular basis. So until next time everybody, take care.